Hey guys, welcome back. You're listening to the KANU Chronicles. I'm your host Nate, aka Crash, and you're listening to episode 219. 219, folks. So, welcome. If you're a new listener, welcome to the podcast. If you've been a listener, welcome back. Thank you. Just gonna get it started. Sorry on this particular one. I know by the time you're hearing this, you're like, whoa, what happened? Yeah, running a little late, guys. Sorry. It's been a eventful week. I can't say I have a real excuse. Time started going by, and I actually, I finally enjoyed a weekend off. And I definitely enjoyed it and actually just chilled. Nothing really nothing to write home about. Didn't do, I didn't do anything crazy. Didn't go to any fun clubs or anything like that. Sorry if I'm taking my time here. I'm just leaving a parking structure from my from my new job. New job, same job. But so yeah, sorry if I'm just going over these little bumps. I'm just trying to be slow going here. So yeah, so I just relaxed, and I watched the football games. I watched a decent amount of them. I was like actually I'm probably going to do it more, but I was watching the Red Zone channel, and where it jumps around and while the games are going on. So that was cool. I got to get a pretty good gist of them. And I think it was definitely probably one of the best weekends so far in the NFL. I think it was for this year. I think it was pretty eventful. Some good games from matchups and teams you wouldn't think maybe that much of, but it turned out to be pretty good. And the competition's it's just an interesting year. I think it's pretty. Like I said, it's the Patriots and everybody else. I think that's pretty true. Although the 49ers should be put up in that conversation, because they're definitely, I'd say they're playing really well. I don't know, like New England, don't know if they've really had competition, although, the Steelers, we did give them a decent run for their money and could have won that game. So there was that. And, so that's pretty much what's up. Steelers played Sunday night. Here, I was going to say at home, but it might as well have been at home. They played here in LA versus the Chargers. First time playing in LA since 1994. They played the Raiders at the Coliseum back then. That was the last game. Probably the last. That was one of the last seasons I think the Raiders were there, if I'm not mistaken. And they won that game 21-3. Just to give you some idea how long ago Mike Tomczak was the quarterback. Oh wow! Sorry, I'm passing by this restaurant. I've been seeing it, but okay, fancy schmancy. Sorry guys, I was just like, whoa, okay. So Mike Tomczak was the quarterback of the Steelers at the time. Just to give you, which most of you probably are listening and going, who the hell is Mike Tomczak? But just look him up. Look up the Steelers of that era. And he was, by all means, I'd say he was a well-liked guy outside of being a quarterback. He wasn't bad, though. Tomczak wasn't bad. No, he wasn't, a highly rated guy. I don't know how his college career, I don't know any of those stats, but he was like, he was for kind of like that in-between guy that, like, well, this isn't the guy, but hey, he's doing the job. He really kind of was that dude. He won some games, and that was a game he won. Albeit, I don't know how great his numbers were. I know that the defense back then, that was a good defense too. I'm not going to go too deep into this conversation about an old game, but I was just like, that was pretty interesting. I was like, oh, cool. So, and then Jeff Hostetler was the quarterback of the Raiders. There's a blast from the past. I hadn't heard that name for a long time. When I saw that, I was like, wow. And they didn't, obviously. I think that was definitely not good times for the Raiders, which they've had many, many bad seasons, as Raider fans would know. This season turning differently for them. Raiders actually had a big win this last week, and it's sounding like a lot of positive things coming out of Oakland. They're like having fun, and it seems to be working out so far. They're doing pretty good. But anyways, so Steelers and Chargers at the Dignity Health Center, which was used to be StubHub. It's probably been that's the third name, Dignity Health. It was the Home Depot Center, then it was the StubHub Center, now it's Dignity Health. And it's a soccer field usually, but the Chargers have been using it for their games until, while the stadium's getting completed. God, sorry for the hiccup out of nowhere. Seems to always come up right when I want to start talking. But, it's a fantastic place to see a game. I haven't been there for any games. I did go there. The only thing I've been there for is my niece's graduation from college last year or something. I forget when it was. Time's going by so fast, but shout out to my niece Alex. Very proud of her. And so I went there for that. So I got I've been there. I know what's up with the place, but not for like a game or anything. But the Galaxy, who's the soccer team, one of the two soccer teams that we have here, Major League Soccer team. They play. That's their like original. That's their place basically, really. And the Chargers are, kind of, I guess, renting from there. I don't know how the deal goes, but so it's a smaller stadium. So not a bad seat you could get in the house. I was looking at this game. Trust me, for months. Maybe even up to, I don't know about a year, but for quite a while. And, I kept just kind of debating, like, oh man, that would be cool, and would I go for it? But the tickets, guys, it was just ridiculous. I mean, we're talking, I think, minimum, I don't think it was any better than $250 at any given time. Pretty much right out, from the beginning, that's what it was. And upwards, and that being said, that's not just that's what the price says, but once you click through, buy, and all the other fucking things, I wouldn't doubt that ticket almost raises up almost to fucking another $100 probably. So it's, it would have been a very expensive game for two people. It could have ran, $600-700 most likely, and you haven't even had a beer, you haven't had anything, you haven't even parked your fucking car, let alone that. That's another probably $50. Just super pricey, and I just was like, it just got to where it wasn't really much to say. I was like, there's no way, I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. Now, all that being said, I didn't do anything special, like go to a certain place to watch and all that shit. I just said, I was thinking of it, and then I was like, what's the difference, man? It was just going to be me, and, I just thought, hey, man, just stay home. You're going to save on everything, why go spend anything, really, So I did. I just stayed home, and I pulled it up and, got myself comfortable, and, watched a great game by the Steel, their best game of the year, so far. And, they thoroughly dominated the Chargers. The score doesn't seem that way at the end. It was 24-17, but, I mean, if you watch the game, I mean, they had the Chargers pretty beat. And it didn't take long, it didn't take too long. But, so it was a good, solid win, and it was a huge Steeler fan base there, which, I'm not surprised, as is every game that the Chargers play. There's opposing fans of every single team take over. You might as well, it might as well be the same fans that just keep switching jerseys just to fuck with the Chargers. Now that would be funny if that, what if it was that? Maybe there is a certain amount of fans doing that. They're like, we're going to every game, and we're going to just keep wearing the jersey of the away team. Oh, that'd be fun. That would be fun. Actually, that would be almost worth doing just as a joke. And even though it's only, But that's when you post. You post each game and the different jersey. Because think about it. All you got to do is buy one jersey and just keep returning it every fucking week. Or whatever. Or something like that. I don't know how that would work. But, I mean, you're talking, what, eight jerseys you got to... Yeah, 8 jerseys, I think, if they play all the games here. I don't know if they got one in London. But, it's pathetic. I mean, it is beyond, I don't even know. I mean, this happens in all stadiums. This happens to some degree. You may have a certain fan base that's just, going to show up. But they're not... to this degree taking over a fucking place, not often. But honestly, this isn't brand new. People have made it, people have talked about it like, oh my God, like it is brand new. But honestly, people that know, like, when they were in San Diego in a bigger fucking stadium, it was still like that. And in a way, may have been even worse. That many more people buy the tickets. But yeah, it was always, at least for some time now. I would say the last time it felt like the Chargers were the Chargers, I'd say it was when LaDainian Tomlinson, like that era, and Schottenheimer. That was the last period where I was like, where you could go, that was like, the Chargers were, the San Diego, it really, like, they seemed like they were doing something, and the fans out there were getting into it and all that shit, but I even in those times, man, I know they had problems there. That other stadium, Qualcomm, was entirely too huge, I know it hosted a lot of great events and some Super Bowls. I don't know how many. I think it was a decent, at least maybe 3 or 4, maybe. I don't know. I just remember the Steelers did play there. I think they played Dallas, if I'm not mistaken, that 95. I believe it was there. And the other, I think the last Super Bowl there at Qualcomm was Tampa Bay and the Raiders in 2002 or 3 or whatever the fuck it was. But, for that, it's great, big fucking, big, huge place, but yeah, it was too much for the Chargers, they just didn't have the fan base. So I was saying all that just to say that this whole thing with here in LA, it's not new. It's worse. It's probably worse, but it wasn't that great then. So I don't know what people this constant thing of go back. They need to be in San Diego, and I'm like, why? You guys didn't seem to care when he was there. I mean, when they were there, they didn't, what do you... And these are people, mind you, that are not even from San Diego. Some of them. I mean, there might be some fans, but these are people online tweeting shit like that, and they're probably out in the Midwest or somewhere. And it's like, I don't know, man. They it's not the fans of San Diego. It's not necessarily their fault completely. It's partially that this ended up this way. I mean, it is somewhat partial, and that's just because of fan support I'm talking about. But, when you have bad ownership, it doesn't help. So that's why I'm like, I'm not shitting on the fans completely, you know what I mean? But there's a reason, there was a reason they were like that, sad situation, but this is what it is. They're here in LA. It doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon. And what else are you going to do? Where else are you going to put them? Is there some other city they're going to do that much better in? They're selling. The bottom line, hey, they're selling out. They sold out the season. It's just they're not getting their fans, but hey, they're selling. They're making money, so that's not a problem. It's just it's gotta suck for the players. Oh, it's terrible. I mean, fuck. It's one thing. You go on the road, you know how it's good, but to be at home every single time and have that shit happen. But let me tell you something. Right up the road, they're not doing that well sometimes either when it comes to that. The motherfucking Rams had the 49ers come, and the Niner fans really took over again, I think, like previously. And they're having those issues too for certain fans. They're not winning with the fans. I think when the Eagles play here, for instance, the Eagle fans have taken over. Look, when you missed, and this is another misnomer, like Steeler, the whole Steeler game, the game they were, Steeler fans travel well, man. That's like a talk, and there's some truth to that. There's some truth to that. Yes, there is some, but it's like, guys, stop selling it that way. It's like, no, these are people in a lot of cities that grew up Steeler fans for one reason or another. Maybe their parents were from there. Maybe they're even from there. They had to relocate because of work and whatever, school. Or they have no connection, but they love that team. That's who they watched. It's not a bunch. It's not all of Pittsburgh traveling around to all these fucking places. That's not happening. And that goes for some of these other fan bases too. Now, out here in particular, I can speak on it. I've been here for this time, for a large portion of this time. I've been here since '98, not long after when they lost their teams. And so you have over 20 years of kids growing up and everything else, being born, yada, yada, yada. And, new people moving in like myself and otherwise and everything else. So the fan demographics for the NFL teams, it's wide open out here. There's fans for all kinds of teams. Legit. Like I said, the Eagles and all that. Those ain't motherfuckers coming from Philly either. They probably are transplants, or they just are fucking Eagle fans, a number of teams, Viking fans, Bears fans. I mean, there's all types of fans out here for certain teams. There's some more than others. Steelers is big. Steelers is a big one. And I saw it right away when I got out here. And this is before Big Ben, before they got that much more popular. There was some hardcore fans already here, and they're and I met a number of them that were born and raised here. No direct Pittsburgh tie, but boy, you talk to them, some of them, I'd say even more hardcore than some people I know in Pittsburgh, you know. And yeah, so you know, that's just what it is. So this, you know, this thing, people like, you know, the Al Michaels and that. I mean, it's all nice and stuff, but it's just stop it. People aren't traveling like that. You know why? You know, I say stop it because I'm telling you about the prices, right? I'm sure there was a number of people. There could have been a number of people that did fly in. It's a reason to come out and get some good weather and go see the Steelers. I'm sure there was some, but you're talking. Even if you come just for the fucking game and everything, you're spending. Let's say you're just spending probably 2 nights, 3 nights out here, you know, and tickets and all that shit. You know, you're talking for 2 people round trip and the whole 9 with tickets. I mean, you're talking that's a good $2,000 trip at least for like 2-3 days. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, I don't know, man. When meanwhile that same amount, like if you're in Pittsburgh for $2,000, you know, you could have went to the whole fucking season probably, you know, worth of games. Maybe not quite, but you know, you get to go to at least 5 games for $2,000 for 2 people in Pittsburgh. I could see that. That's definitely possible. And have a fucking good time at that too. You know, tickets can get a little high out there. They can. I'm not saying they don't, but nah, man, it's not even close. So you know, that's what I'm saying. So saying like, you know, they say it in a way like all those fans traveled from Pittsburgh. It makes it fun, but it's like not a lot of people got it like that, where they're just, yeah, man, we're just gonna, you know, it's like, nah, dude. But I tell you what, man, some people made some good fucking money. That's the most they're gonna make this year off the Chargers, probably. Let me tell you. Unless they got a good playoff game coming, if they're so lucky. Which, you know, I don't see that happening. So don't hold your breath for them to do all that. Yeah, I'm gonna be stopping here in just a moment, so just letting you know that. But either way, man, you know, looked like an awesome time. I'm sure it was super fun. You know, part of me watching it, I was a little bit like, oh man, it'd be cool to be there, you know, but you know, because you're like, yeah, we're winning, so it's fun. But you know, that's the gamble you're taking with that. You know, you know. I just don't feel like putting up, you know, a few $100s for the hopes that, maybe we'll have a good game, maybe we won't, you know. So, call me a bitch, I don't care. But anyways, hold on real quick, I'll be back. Alright, back on. Just had to go get a couple beers real quick. So, sorry, that's my little lane change noise. So if you hear that, that's my... It's nothing important. So, what the fuck was I gonna say? Yeah, so I was just saying about the Steelers and all that shit with the games and prices. Yeah, I just, I couldn't see paying that much money, man. I don't, that was my first, that's my only NFL game, honestly. It was Steelers and Chargers back in 2008, Bill Cowher's last year. And we went down to San Diego and everything. And I think those tickets combined, and we were way out there, way up. And those tickets, if I'm not mistaken, were about $400 together. So, definitely weren't, they weren't that cheap either. But I just couldn't see myself quite doing that again and even pay that much more. Although, yes, we would have had better, our seats would have been no problem. So, the experience probably would have been that much more fun. Plus, we won the game, which we didn't in the last one, which that wasn't bad. Like, I still appreciate that time in memory. Like, I'm not mad at that. Like, really am not. And I think, actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think the score was the same. We were on the other side of it, though. I swear to God, I think it was 24-17, now that I think about it. And, it's, what are you going to do? It was, like I said, you can't, that's the risk you take with whatever fucking game, whether it's this, NFL, whatever. You either pony the money and you like your fucking team that much no matter what, or, whatever. But that's the hard part with some of those tickets. When it gets pretty high like that, you do have to start thinking that way a little bit. It's like, do I really, it's like, shit, what if they don't win, what if they, you can't help it, you start going, fuck, if it's not as much, then you're like, all right, I'm cool, I could deal with it. Yeah, if it would have been, honestly, if it would have been probably closer to that, combined, something like that, maybe I would have done it. But, I don't know, it's all good, man. Honestly, football is not it's like a lot of sports these days in a way, but it's definitely one of the few, it's not that great live in a way. You're gonna be mostly far from the field, and things look different than it is on TV, yeah, it's okay. It's a fun, the experience, I'd say it's fun or not based on the fans you're going to be around. So, in our case, that we were in Chargerville, Charger Town and all that shit, it was actually positive, man. It was a 50-50 game, I remember at the time. It was like almost 50-50, like 50% Charger, 50% Steeler fans. And I swear to God, it was really close like that. And, but we had a good section. The people we were right with, great people. I think they bought us a round of drinks. We did to them, or something like that. They were good sports, and we kept it cool, and I didn't act up or anything like that. But man, boy, let me tell you, I see some fucking fights and skirmishes go down around us, and yeah, it was not that bad, but it was just, you just tell, it just shows you, it's like, you could be in the wrong fucking section, or next to the wrong group, that's just, a little too extra, and then you're not gonna have a great time, maybe, that goes into that sometimes, or a lot of it, I don't know, man, so, but, it's all good. Like I said, I'm not mad. It's all good. There's there'll be another time and place, that I'll probably get to watch them or do something like that live. But, yeah, it's, it is what it is. But I tell you what, I wonder if somebody did it. I didn't even think of it this way, and this is where I was like, ooh, that might have been kind of. Then it was like, that would have been kind of fun. A long day, but it'd been fun. But I'm like, wow, you could have went to the Ram game early, the earlier game. You could have went and seen the Rams 49ers, and then you could have went right down the road and seen the Chargers Steelers that evening. That would have been, that for a few $100s. Oh yeah, that would have been worth it. And I know the Charger Niner, that was pretty. There was like, all these tickets out here for most of these games aren't that bad. Usually, most of the other for these other teams, I've seen tickets like depending on what place or whatever. But I've seen plenty starting at $50, shit like that. Which is that's killer. I mean, so that was just like I said, that was just that game. Plus the other reason for that is it was Sunday Night Football. That was the primetime element. Does play a part in prices too. But yeah, to do both those games, that would have been really pretty cool. What's this guy doing? Okay. So I wonder if somebody had to have done that. Somebody had to have done both. But yeah, I forgot about that. It's probably the only time this year that'll happen. I don't think there'll be another game like game day. Yeah, that's probably the only one because, no, unless the Rams got a Sunday night game. That's true. I'll have to look that up. It could be the opposite. You could have the Chargers be the early game and then the Rams would be the late game. Yeah, that's pretty dope, man. I'd have to say that's pretty dope if you can do that. Again, that's a long football day, but you're definitely gonna have gotten your money's worth, I would imagine. All right, guys, let me stop for now and get situated. Hey guys, back in. Ready to go here. It's Wednesday morning here, so yeah, it's gonna be a little late podcast this week. I'm expecting to have this up late this evening / early morning. Either way, by the time you're hearing this, it doesn't even matter. Right now, you're listening to me. Well, now you got it. That's what it is. Excuse me while I choke on nothing. What the hell is going on with me sometimes? So yeah, it's Wednesday morning here. Beautiful LA weather. Oh, that's what I need to speak on. We had a fire up here the last week. A couple different areas, probably really a few to be exact, but I'm not going to go through all of them. But Sylmar / you probably heard Saddle Ridge it was called the Saddle Ridge Fire, and Porter Ranch. Those are two different neighborhoods, and really pretty close to us. Of course, we're not in any harm's way because we're in a more condensed city type layout. There's not trees everywhere and stuff, so not much. It would have to really go off somehow and burn neighborhoods after neighborhood somehow, but it would have to be like a firestorm event, they call it. It would just have to be a real unique circumstance of winds and everything else for it to really burn up parts of the valley beyond just like the mountains. So, however, if we didn't have if it was just a blaze and there was no fire people to put it out and stuff like that, I wouldn't want to see what that would do, but you wonder how far would that keep going? Would it spread out? I guess it would if you don't have anybody putting out the fire. Somebody would at some point. You're not going to sit there and just let that thing keep going, but Yeah, I have a feeling it would stop somewhere, just because, like I said, it's a lot of structures are different. You have a lot of cement. It would have to cross streets. It would need some wind and everything else to really keep propelling it, type thing. But yeah. So, anyways, I know I'm going a bit long with that, but just making the point of, like, yeah, I wasn't really in harm's way, but still, it's always freaky, and it, you feel that much more. Well, at least you should, but I feel for the people, just because those areas pretty well and stuff like that. Not that we shouldn't have to, but when it is closer and it is a place you're familiar with, that's the way it is. You know what I mean? So I don't have anybody. I don't think I know anybody directly that. I don't think I know anybody that really was affected. I know there was a few friends, like my wife knew, or somebody like kind of indirect, so they were evacuated, but they're okay, everything's fine. But yeah, it could have been much worse, but thankfully the conditions weren't too crazy. It ended up I would say it calmed down pretty quickly, and even when it was getting going, it wasn't as bad. Like I said, it could have been much worse as far as like the winds and things like that. So things worked out, and I don't know where it's at now. I'm sure they're still working on parts of it. So like you have a lot of hot spots that last for some time, but it's probably pretty close to being out. I know it was 40. It was like 40% plus the other day. 44. So it's definitely got to be over 50, 60% at this point. But yeah, man, it's this is LA. This is part of it. There's always been fires. Aren't nothing new. It is more than it used to be. That seems to be the case. I mean, it seems to be. I really, I can't say that in conclusion, because actually, since I've been here, there's always some fires every year. It just may not have been the same places or as close, as many times. I'd say in the last 10 or 12 years, it's picked up that much more. Like, as far as being closer and, more destructive, definitely it's picked up. But before that, doesn't seem as much. But I bet you, the problem is, if I actually looked into it, you'd probably be surprised how much there still was, maybe even 30 years ago, you're not going to hear maybe about every fire at the time, because you're doing what, I was, and besides that, I wasn't even here. I was back east, and when I was a little kid, I'm trying to think, when I was here in the 80s, I don't remember a whole lot of fires, but there were a couple, but that's just up until age 10, so what do you don't really remember a lot of stuff, it would have to have been something close enough. There was like one event that was pretty close, and other than that, I don't remember a whole lot, but I wasn't sitting there watching the local news or listening for, what was going on. And that's the thing too, is you had to read papers back. To really know what's up, you would have been having to read papers, listen to, multiple radio stations, and you still probably wouldn't get the coverage, like for fires that weren't like right here, but maybe in other parts of the state, or maybe like 50 miles away type thing, I mean, the local news, I'm sure, probably covered it pretty good, but it was so much different, man. So that's the thing. If you look back, I'd like to do that sometime. Excuse me. just taking a swig of water there. But yeah, maybe you guys could do it. Look it up yourself. History of fires around LA or stuff like that. There's got to be some site that has it kind of all dialed in. You know, they have the information and stuff, but yeah, but there's you know, this is just to be expected now, which is crazy. So it sucks because if you want to live in, you know, there's those communities in a lot of these hilly areas, they're pretty cool. You know, there's some nice areas, but that's, oh my God. Sorry, just getting on this stupid freeway. That's going nowhere, and there's a total jam right here. Where's this trying to take me? Alright, sorry guys, I'm just making sure of my directions. Even though I really don't need them. But I like to have it just for the, if there's any, you know, change in traffic or something, it's worth having it up for that. Anyways, you guys know if you guys drive. Some of you guys probably don't drive, though. Some of you don't drive. So yeah, I'm trying to get into next. We got, yeah, so enough about the fires. Like I said, it was just about 2 days, 3 days, usual type thing, 2-3 days, a lot of smoke. Yeah, I'd say for 2 days the smoke was pretty good, and then after that it mellowed out. But yeah, it sucks. I mean, thankfully we were, again, just far enough, thankfully, you know. That's one thing, we're definitely in a good spot for that. I mean, you know, it could have got closer. We could have got, you know, I've seen smoke in the neighborhood more thick from other fires. So, you know, it depends, but there's not yeah, there's the amount, it's like everything, all that shit that's going to burn is like 10 miles away most of the time. But, you know, again, the wind, if it's coming a certain way, it's going to, you know, it's going to make the difference. So yeah, that's my fire report at the moment. But I hope wherever you're at, you know, I know there's fires in other parts of the world, you know, very similar issues and much worse, you know, in some places. Shit, I haven't even looked in, you know, remember Brazil? It was on fire. Now what's going on now? Is anything going on? Man, this is not freaking going anywhere here. What are we doing? Sorry, man. I just got totally screwed taking this route. Good job, Google. Why would you even send me up this way? This makes no sense. I hope... What are we doing? Fixing one little stupid thing on the road and they have to close the whole fucking thing down? Wow. Anyways. Yeah, they had to close some lanes down here on the side entering. That's what... Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm just blowing this podcast. I know you guys love it. Just talking about nothing here. So yeah, we just, you know, I just hope everybody's good out there, basically. Yeah, so that's about it with that. What else? We got the playoffs going on, baseball. Yankees and Astros supposed to be tonight, but it's delayed or some shit. I don't know to what amount, but that was the current word as heard on Sports Grid broadcast on YouTube through the Fantasy Sports Network. Check out my man Gabe Morency and Joe Ranieri. They're on pretty much every day. pretty much every day, guys. So check them out. Streaming all the time. You can go back and watch, older videos. They do a great job if you're really, really wanting sports and more, just some more stats and breakdowns and just that type of stuff. They're the place to go. Yeah, they're definitely for the real sports junkie beyond, people. Perfect for if you're like, I'm tired of ESPN, go check them out. You're still going to watch some ESPN, of course. Most people still do. There's always some shows. They're not the worst, honestly. ESPN does have some good stuff, but I'm just saying when it gets stale and you're tired of the commercials and stuff like that, yeah, definitely check these guys out. If you want raw, unedited, not a big corporation, type talk, very free, very free. So yeah, they got a good thing going on, but it's, like I said, they stick with the sports. They do cover other things. They do get a little, sidetracked at times and rants, but it's very, you're gonna spend your time well. You spend an hour listening, I think you'll enjoy, or at least I hope so. I don't know, maybe you won't. but yeah, that's my guys. So anyways, that's my little plug. Send the check in the mail, guys. No. Yeah, right. So shout out to them. Shout out to the whole Fantasy Sports Network people. But yeah, that's what's going on. But the Nationals are going to the World Series. They swept the Cardinals, I guess. I didn't get the last score. But yeah, good for them. Congrats to the Nationals. I mean, they did take care of the Dodgers, so, it's one of those, hey, the Dodgers could say, hey, we won. They win 1 or 2 games. I don't even know. I think they only won 1. But yeah, so, I mean, that's nothing it's still nothing to be, can't be really proud, but Dodgers can at least go, well, that's a good team. Hey, they played a hell of a team. That you can't say those type of things. Like, and obviously so. I mean, hey, team, if you win, man. Especially baseball. It's such a grind, and it's long. It's a long game. I mean, yeah, I don't think there's been any controversy with that, which that's good, thank God. I hope it doesn't, I hope we don't have any of those issues going forward coming up. It's pretty good in baseball when it comes to that. There are some questionable strikeouts. That's always going to happen. Base tagouts could be an issue, but it's gotten. I think replays helped them. I really do. I think that's definitely been. I'm glad they did bring that into the game. Seems to be pretty good. Doesn't seem, they're kind of not trying to waste too much time with it. Look at the shit, get right to the fucking call. As much as they can. The good thing with baseball is that. With that being said, with the play call, with them looking at replays now, it's already a slow game, so I don't think it's that dramatic. Like, it doesn't make it that much more slow. It's like, well, it's already kind of, it's already kind of a whatever type laid back game, so it doesn't really fuck with the flow. There's not like the same flow like football's got a lot more like a certain rhythm, basketball, but in baseball it doesn't have quite that. There is a pace, there is a pace to a game, but yeah, it doesn't seem to interfere. I don't know. I'm not watching a ton of games. Maybe somebody would say there's hey man, this game or that game got pretty out of control with the calls, replays. But I don't know. I haven't heard nothing's come on the radar with that, so it doesn't seem to be much of an issue. So I think people want to see that guy's safe or not. So it's definitely been useful. So who knows how many games years ago that would have changed or affected had it been in place, but yeah, we're here now. We are here now. So that's what's up. So we'll see. Houston Astros beating the Yankees. They're starting to, get ahead of them. Not looking, it's kind of looking rough for the Yankees right now. So they really got to win this next one or else they're in deep shit. And, again, everybody was expecting, well, I don't know if everybody was expecting, maybe not because, like I said, it's not that like the Nationals in Houston haven't been strong, but I'd say a lot of people were probably looking at Dodgers and Yankees type series, or at least, that's the one that would have made a lot of money for sure. Yeah, the Astros and Nationals, not so much. It may do well. I mean, it still could be a great series, no doubt, for baseball fans, but it's not going to grab. It's not one of those that's going to grab like fans that don't really watch the game at all. That it doesn't have that factor. Yankees, Dodgers, you're getting some people that don't watch games. You're going to get some random fans, some people. Because they got those. They're huge brands. They're two big markets. So, but I don't know. I think that might be even so. I think that's kind of less and less. I don't know if, I don't hear people talking about, I'm going to watch the World Series tonight. Maybe I know there's some, but I don't hear it like that, the Super Bowl, or even the NBA Finals. Out of all of them, the Super Bowl is the one people, that's the more, common, everybody watches that, the rest of them, it's I don't hear that much, at least, amongst people I know, it's not, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I do see people interested. It's not that we are not watching, but, I could tell though, overall, it's not like people are flocking to make sure to watch all that stuff, but maybe it's just an LA thing. I know there is some of that for sure here with stuff because everybody's got something way more important to do, than watch a silly game. Yeah, I'm serious. That's what people probably, they're not even consciously looking at it that way. They're just, people are busy with whatever they're busy with here. They're not sports oriented a lot of times. Unless the local teams are involved, yeah, it does pick up. But I don't think that's a super uncommon. In Pittsburgh, for instance, nobody's rallying going, what's going on with the NBA Finals? Not really. I mean, you got fans out there. You got NBA fans. But, you got a lot of people, too, that don't, they're not really checking it. They don't care, Yeah, and that goes same thing for baseball. Not a lot of people, the same thing. They're not gonna out there. They're not gonna be consumed or thinking too much about that. If the Pirates were involved, yeah. The Cardinals, if they go further, I guess, because they're a division rival, so people kind of would want to see, but there's there is a thing with the Cardinals amongst, I think, almost everybody. They're at a place now, they're looked at kind of like the Yankees, oh God, here they go, winning another one, so they're at that place in their, franchise where people, are again, because they've still won relatively, recent, so, Yeah, I think it's been just a few years. I have to look that up, but you know, they did get another one recently. They keep hanging around. Yeah, they're a team for sure that a player here and there away from being super dominant. Yeah, but the division's, you know, the division, even if it's not the greatest all the time, it's a real scrappy division amongst, you know, each team. Everybody seems to be like, they just know each other. Everybody just knows each other's personnel well, and you know, like I guess other divisions, but it just seems in that particular one, it's kind of a toss-up. There's nobody outright kicking everybody else's ass. There, at least not recently, there hasn't really been that team. Probably the last team that was kind of doing it in the division was the Cubs when they won the World Series. I think that year, I'm pretty sure that season they were handling everybody pretty well. There was, you know, there got to be some separation there, but I'd have to look that up again because I don't know. I think Cardinals probably were pretty close. Pirates weren't bad. I think Pirates weren't bad at the time. That was around the time they were getting into the playoffs. A couple, you know, little skirmishes where they got to the wild card. You know, that's all they've gotten in 20, going on fucking 30 years soon, you know. But yeah, it's been a long time since they've done anything serious in the playoffs, Pirates. But well, they're getting a new manager, so that's going to make the difference, I guess. Yeah, right. Until they get an owner that really will put his money where his mouth is, which he isn't saying shit, but if he would, you know, actually give a fuck, they could be a great team. Pirates could perennially get into the playoffs easily. Whether they be real effective or not, that's another story, but they would be able to at least be that effective if they would get the right payroll involved. And we're not talking even that much more. I think if they would be able to have another $30 million into the payroll, I think that would be pretty effective. But that takes good management as well, which people are less and less hot on Neil Huntington, who did come in pretty exciting. You know, I think he did definitely. I think he helped for a time, but you know, I think we'll see after these decisions. And I would say after this year, even though I know a lot of fans have moved on and are like, man, get that guy out of there too. Which I really agree. The guy basically is just a perfect, you know, chore. He just does the chores for the ownership. He doesn't, you know, they got the kind of guy they want. He's not stirring up the pot, and you know, he's just doing what he's hired to do. You know, so I'm not going to be mad at him. Again, I don't know how much he could really do. Like I said, the payroll is the payroll. So you know, if they don't have that much more, it's not much. Not a whole heck of a lot you could do. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. But, anyways, I'm kind of running low here. I want to stop for a minute. Just get a little stop down time for a second. But I'll be back in a little bit, like 2 seconds. Hey, back in, whatever you want to call it. Continuing on, guys, the podcast 219 you're listening to. Oh, shit, sorry, guys, give me a moment here. I'm trying to work out my fucking route here. Going to, what do we got? Why is it taking? Okay, there we go. Got her? Yeah, whatever. Alright, hey, back on. So, sorry about that. Little interruption. Just navigating myself out of my new place. I know some of you might be frustrated. Why don't you ever say? It's like, well, I don't know. Maybe it's my own fun little game. I just don't care to. I think it's probably wise to, I don't need to include places at work. At the moment, that may change time to time. I know I've probably mentioned here and there a couple places at times, barely, but I don't know. It was actually there's absolutely no real reason. I'm not like contractually obligated in some form to not speak. Definitely there's nothing, I have nothing specific that I signed that says you cannot mention us on your podcast. although yeah, I can't, I definitely, just probably not a good idea. Again, probably nothing big. I just wouldn't want to talk about anything specific about the place too much. That might not be a good idea, but mentioning and talking where you work, no big deal. They really wouldn't, nobody'd really care. But yeah, so anyways, I'm just going from one spot to another right now, and sorry about all the noise. I hope it's not too, well, you guys are used to it, but again, I apologize if there's a little noise. It's probably just more for me that I'm hearing, going over these bumps, speed bumps. So yeah, got some more work to do, long part of one of my long days, a little different than before. I was doing the morning, I would go one place for the place I'm going to right now, I would go in the morning, and then I would leave and then go to another place for the rest of the evening. Now it's the opposite. For now, that's the way I'm doing it. So, take you to my world, heading into Hollywood, the thick of Hollywood. So it's been a nice day. It's the middle of the week. You guys are gonna, by the time you're hearing this, it's probably the end or towards the end of your week. So, it is what it is, guys. But yeah, just rocking and rolling here, and hope everything is going good for you. However, whatever that is, maybe it's the end, maybe it's the beginning of your week. Some people work, their weeks start different times. Plus you got time zones and wherever you're at in the world, all that good jazz. So, I can't say it enough. I appreciate all the listeners, all you guys everywhere. Appreciate it. Sorry, I'm just checking here. There's a hazard for what? God dang, dude, this shit is nuts. Alright, well, I'm not going to change anything. Really ain't going to do nothing. So, sorry, let me make sure level is nice. Got to log in. This stuff gets real crappy with this recording. Switching apps to apps, just making sure everything's good. So, yeah, so I pretty much covered the sports stuff for now. Actually, let me talk again about football a little bit. Like I said, great job by the Steelers. We're heading into their bye week this week. So it's probably the first bye week for a lot of teams. I don't know, there might have been a bye week already, but I feel like this is like the beginning. It usually takes about 5 games or so. So this is week 6. So yeah, they're out. I think which is fantastic. I think that the timing couldn't be better. Probably in my opinion, maybe some people feel different, but I think 6 weeks in is damn good time for a bye week. It's great. I mean, I think, we're pretty healthy outside of, the Tuitt injury now, which is definitely not cool. But, and everything else that we've had with injury, which has basically been with Ben and Rudolph being concussed. But he's been cleared, so he's supposed to be back. He will be back for Miami, it looks like, which that's great. It looks confirmed at this point. It's been kind of like, it's funny because I follow a couple Twitter accounts here and there that are Steeler fans, that run them, and they're usually they're really good. They're not, mind you, they're not. It's not like they're getting necessarily paid for this, to do a Twitter account. They're not working for the Steelers doing it, but they do a damn good job, like keeping everybody like up to date or being on top of a story or maybe even like some talk. One in particular that does a good job, his name is Blitzberg. Shout out to Blitzberg. I think it's Steel Curtain something, whatever. If you look up Blitzberg Twitter, you'll find it. And I think that's my main account that I pretty much follow. I follow a couple other ones. If I try to remember, I'll shout them out as well. But so yeah, but I just say all that because it was funny because like for a couple days it's been like, Rudolph hasn't been cleared. He is cleared. It's like, it's just so funny because it's not funny, that situation, but like, the reporting of it, of like, it's like, hey man, we got a bye week here. It's okay. Like, I'm sure he's going to be back. It's one of those things, but glad to hear he is cleared. That is official. I was pretty confident about it because everything's, everything I kept hearing was pretty, it didn't get worse. There wasn't like negative talk. So, but I'm glad that is the case. And, I guess there might be, I think there's a little bit of controversy to some people, which is really BS, or, some people probably want Hodges to continue right now. I don't have a problem with this situation. Mason was the number 2. It was his job he didn't lose the job. He got injured. It's the same situation if it was Ben. So in that regard, there is no controversy. And the guy, there hasn't been enough time or play for that to have occurred. So, so there's no controversy there. It's totally awesome. I think that he's going to, I think it's, what can you say? I mean, to come back, to have a bye week, and then also to come back, and then you got Miami, who's struggling at home, and have 3 games at home on top of, after also a banging, badass defensive performance. I think that I don't, considering everything, you can't, it couldn't even be any better in a way. I mean, it could be better, but all things, like I said, considered, it's not bad at all. And I hit why is this taking me this? Wow, whatever. What fucking ever. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going down. And what can I say? I think this is the best part of the schedule going forward. But we just got to win, baby, win, as they say. And we'll see how far they can go. At this rate, the best they can get is I guess what's that, 12-4 record, which would be so amazing. That's a 10-game winning streak, by the way, all the way through the. And you look at it. You can look at the teams we're playing, and it's definitely possible. I don't think we'll do that, but it definitely could happen. I'm trying to be hopeful about it. We'll see. We'll see, man. Either way, I think this is just a great opportunity. We just got to use, the Steelers and I think they will. It's actually their, it's actually perfect for them in the sense of, it's so funny. I don't know. It's like they're still being looked at as a certain level, which that is something else. That's respect. But by record, it's like, we're below average. Even though a lot of our play that we've had here and there shows otherwise. You're like, wow, this team looks really good. But just got to string up some more games. But, we'll see if they'll be favorites. I know in the Miami game, they'll probably be favorites. But I think that this is, like I said, this should be opportunity right now. Nobody's looking at us as Super Bowl this year, not really. The fans, yeah. But like otherwise, no, nobody's looking at us for Super Bowl. Even fans aren't necessarily looking for that we're Super Bowl quality, But I think, like I said, we got to use that to our advantage. And, see what happens. But either way, this is an opportunity. You get to see it no matter what, how good our backups are, what the situation is, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just trying to stay positive about it. I feel like we can make some noise, make some interesting things happen. Who knows? It's really big because of the division. The division, we're in great shape in the division, as bad as it is. That's crazy, but it's true. We're definitely not in bad shape. So, but it's going to hinge every single game right now the way we're set up. So this is that time, and this is also the time where we'll see the teams that are got good records. Do they start falling off? Starts showing some wear. Does that start changing? We'll see. But yeah, we're getting into a more of a crazy part of the season. Oh man. So yeah, that's gonna be wonderful. But other than that, that's pretty much what's up with the sports. My sports world. You won't hear me on this podcast talk about really any other teams too much, because I'm gonna go with who I know. But I might say something about a team here and there, but I'm not gonna talk out my ass. I'm not gonna waste your time, if I'm just not following it, something or some team like that. What am I talking about? But in other news, in this, constant, crazy amount of news and scandal and constant war of words online and everything else, we have a crazy, obviously we have a super, just like we just have an unprecedented kind of situation going on, of course, in our politics. And it's just, obviously dominating news left and right. And it's wild, man. That's all I can say without maybe getting specific. Don't mind me if I kind of vague right now. I'm actually just getting a little closer here, so I'm going to be shutting off in a minute. But I will be, going on. I'll be recording some more here shortly. You won't even notice the difference, matter of fact, but yeah, so sorry, navigating this traffic. It's kind of wild here, guys. I'm only going 5 miles, but it's actually going getting there a little bit later than I want, but hey, I can only do what I can do. Yeah, good old Hollywood. Just LA in general. Man, it is after 8 o'clock and the traffic is still humming hard. Big time. But, what are you going to do? Super popular place. This city of LA. Yeah, man. So it's been one thing after another. This scandal, that thing, people getting subpoenas and not, just nuts, man. I'm trying to follow it. I'd say I got a pretty decent handle on what's up. But, you guys as well, whoever's following, listening to all this, checking everything. We're all getting a lot of the same information pretty much, so I don't know, man. It's pretty amazing. So just, again, all I could say, do your thing, take care of your business, and hey, man, you can't, we could all each do what we can do, and yeah, when it comes to the bigger things in politics, I mean, if you feel like you need to, I would say write to different people, reps, representatives, congresspeople, you could do all that. There's a lot of, all the information's out there. It's not hard to get. I'm just suggesting these things instead of like, or you can, you could be mad and fight with your, argue with friends or not argue with friends, or, because look, arguing about this stuff doesn't even mean you're against each other. You could be totally on the same page, so to speak, but people argue about, I've done it. I do it probably still sometimes, a detail, somebody, messing up on a story, or maybe not conveying something that you want to convey. And, like the things that just come up when people get into politics typically, like I said, whether you agree or not, it gets, it just gets heated. People get upset, not, rightfully so, for whatever reason. But I'm going to keep making the point of like, you could do that, we have a right, we could all, if you feel like you need to get things off your chest, or you enjoy some of that talk, that's fine. I mean, it is, but don't poison it. Don't, I don't want people's relationships. Don't ruin it over that shit as much as you can. Just if you have a friend or somebody, you're like, we probably really see different on this or whatever. Don't even bother. Don't get into it with each other. Or just try to be mindful, it's because it's not worth it. People ruin friendships a lot over this shit. That's just, it's not seriously worth it, guys. So that's why I say it's way more effective instead, if you can, or at least it's more productive, maybe not effective, but at least productive, and you could feel maybe even that much better about it. But yeah, write your concerns and thoughts about these things, all that stuff that you're going to put that energy so-called into. If you could try to put that to these people that actually have they have the voice, they're supposed to represent all those things, that's just way better, guys. Morning, or afternoon, I mean. Sorry, I'm just pulling in here. I don't even know what fucking time of the day is. I'm sitting there saying good morning, good afternoon. Oh, cool, I can park right here. Sweet. But, yeah, so I'm going to actually stop here. But, yeah, just going to keep putting that message out there. Now, I do say that, and I'm going to be clear, I'm not necessarily doing that myself. I'm not, writing to anybody. But I'm not saying this like, like I'm better, because I'm just, I'm just being honest, and not, I'm not going to be a hypocrite either. It's like, I'm just putting that out there as a positive thing, that's all. But I also, anyways, you guys get the point. No, that's all. So, just hang out, guys, and be back in 2 seconds. Alright, guys, like I said, right back for you in no time flat. Finishing up my long day, we're going to finish up this podcast as well, in a little bit, no big hurry, but, excuse me, it's just definitely hitting me at this point, but I'm going to power through. We'll get this all wrapped up for you in a nice bow. Yeah, pretty good. Actually, pretty good for long days. It went, as good as it can get. I don't know though. Sorry, I'm just a little, obviously I'm a little tired and stuck trying to get out of here because this traffic just doesn't stop. It's midnight and you still have, pretty decent amount of traffic, probably a lot for most places. This traffic would be like, what the fuck? But for here, it's just another night, just another Wednesday, and all right, finally got out of there onto the street. But not complaining. I mean, it's better than it was earlier, of course. Yeah, it kind of looked like things, died down by like 9 o'clock. As I was went out to get some food earlier. Went to good old Arby's. Actually, famous Arby's, Hollywood Arby's. Was in an episode of Comedians in Cars with Jerry Seinfeld, one of his recent ones. He went to that Arby's. I think it was Seth Rogen. I feel like it was that one. But yeah, it was. I remember I was watching it at home, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's that's the fucking Arby's I go to." And the guy there and everything, the guy that took the order, I was like, "Oh, I know him," So that was cool. I told him, when I saw the guy next time I went, I was like, "Hey man, I saw you in that show. That was cool," Which it really was. It's not often that happens. But yeah, so like I said, I noticed the traffic kind of got lighter at that point. But yeah, it's always, it's just doesn't stop out here for the most part. The drill. If you listen to this, you listen to me talk, I usually I bring it up every now and then. I really try not to go on about traffic and such, but then again, what am I talking? Yeah, it's a podcast. That's what you're supposed to do. Go on about stuff. But yeah, it went like I said, things went pretty well. I just don't know what the fuck's going on. I got a foot cramp maybe, I'm thinking, but man, it fucking hurts, man. My right foot. It's alright, like it's fine right now. Like when I'm sitting on it, I don't really notice. Once I get up and start moving, it's like, holy, like what the fuck? It's weird. It has to be some kind of foot cramp. It's like on the top of the foot, and I don't know, it's weird. But hopefully that doesn't linger on. I don't know. I just hope I don't have any issues that get worse or something. But I guess it's part of this getting older sometimes. But can't complain too much. Really, I really try not to, because I'm you know, been pretty fortunate on a lot of fronts when it comes to different things like that. So, you know, I try to, I don't know, that's just me. I don't like to, you know, really complain about much of anything, not for no reason at least. But yeah, if I'm having some pain or whatever, yeah, sorry, I guess I am going to complain a little bit. Most people will, but yeah, it's just can't, you know, I don't know. I just noticed this today. I actually started right when I was leaving from the other place earlier today or some shit. I don't fucking know. So what else? Yeah, the Yankee game was postponed. Sorry, that's my bag I'm opening here. Don't mind me. But yeah, the Yankee game postponed. Yankee Astros game was postponed due to rain. Even though I don't know if it even happened. Probably did, but I guess they got way ahead of it right away, like early today, and was like canceled or postponed. So I guess they'll pick up tomorrow, I'm sure. But the Nationals did make it, like I said earlier, so they're just standing by for the World Series. They're going to be fresh. They're going to be super fresh by the time they start that World Series. But yeah, we'll see. You know, yeah, I guess excuse me. Yeah, I guess I kind of, yeah, I mean, you know, I guess I kind of wish I hope they do end up winning. I mean, it'll be another new team winning a title. So, can't be too mad at that. But, yeah. I already said whatever before. I already covered it before. Oh, I'm trying to think. What else is going on? A little music talk. We can talk a little music for a minute. Wow, this guy's coming up flying behind me. Oof. Sometimes I don't try to look at my rear view too much. I really don't try to that much because it'll make you, to me, I think it can make you a more nervous driver just because of the way people are. I almost don't want to see the guy flying from behind me. But I just happened to glance that time. No harm, no foul, but God, it makes you a little nervous. Yeah, I'm trying to think music stuff. What's been going on? Well, Little Kim got a new album. In the world of albums that nobody seems to talk about these days. No, they still exist, but yeah, it's just like, it's not the same old, like back in the day, but she released her first album in like over 10 years, I believe. I didn't even realize it was that long, but I was like, yeah, I guess so. It's called 9. I was on her interview with Ebro, and she was just discussing why she came up with that title. It had to do with like, it has meaning to her, and she said that it just came, you know, that it just kind of came to her, and then she was making sense. Oh, well, this and that, you know, the number 9 was involved, so that's how she came up with it. I don't know if it's her 9th studio album too. Might be, maybe. I don't know. But there's a lot of artists where you're like, wow, they had this many out, you know, this many whatever albums, and then you go back and you're like, damn, they've done that many. You forget sometimes how many albums people do. But kudos to her. So far, you know, I've seemed to be reading some good things. I haven't heard it yet myself. I'll probably check some out. I'm still gonna go, and there's a lot of stuff I got to start checking out. I know I was talking about that previously, and I did, obviously start going through those albums. I'm gonna go back to them and listen to some more, and I have a lot of stuff to try to catch up on. But yeah, that's something new. And then I'm sure there's a couple other ones I'm missing, of course, but what I was gonna say, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for next year is getting announced. Who would be inducted possibly, and it was like Nine Inch Nails came up. It's always a few bands there where you're like, wow, they're not in yet. I think Judas Priest and Soundgarden. Oh, nice. I got Traffic all of a sudden. Sweet. Because of road work. I didn't put this in. Yeah, fuck. Good job. Didn't even think to put in the directions to get... Wow. How fucked up is this going to be? Dead fucking stop, too. Wow. Right after midnight, going into 12:30, and I got a dead stop of it's fucking sweet, man. What is it telling me? It's telling me get off, I guess. Wow. Well, let's see where we go. So, sorry for these interruptions. Like, I don't know. Unbelievable. It's not unbelievable. This is what it is all the fucking time. Seemingly. Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna sidetrack. I was talking, I'm gonna divert a little bit. I know I was just trying to talk a bit about some music, but now it's just I just got irritated because it's like when you're trying, like, look, I'm getting paid for this work, so it's not like I'm doing charity, but the reason I'm even out late like this is for last minute, like, taking it. Oh, now it's just gonna be fucking clear. Fuck this. Turn this fucking thing off, sorry. This directions doesn't know what it's talking about. It won't be helpful, so... yeah, so... and I don't have to. Nobody's putting a gun in my head. I could have just been like, no, I'm good, or I'm whatever. I can't do it. No, me, I'm going to take it. And, the money's pretty good. No, nothing to cry about. But, man, it stops again. Wow. Fuck. Guess it doesn't. I don't fucking get this shit. So, sorry, I'm just trying not to fucking wreck, guys. Man, this is fucking up my train of thought right now. So yeah, I took this work, and this is where I'm like regretting it because of this shit. Because I'm unnecessarily out in this traffic that I wouldn't have had. Not like no. And not only that, the truck going over there, having that, just, oh my God, it's just aggravating. It's all good. I'm just fucking venting right now because this is going on. But man, that really, it's really pissing me off that, it's not their fault. It's not their fault, but it's like, fuck, man. Why did I fucking bother? Stuck in this shit. And I should have just got off earlier right there. But no, I fucking didn't. Shit, man. This is bullshit. This is just fucking bullshit. So, what are you gonna do, man? It's the way it is. It's the way it fucking is. So yeah, I'm completely losing. I don't even want to talk anymore. Don't even know what else to fucking talk about. Yeah, I was trying to talk some music stuff. Yeah, yeah, there's some shit. Definitely some stuff to be checking out. So yeah, that's whatever. I'll be listening, trying to find some shit to listen to, right? So anyways, I'm going to finish up right now, guys. This is it. End of the show. Hope you guys have a good one. Have a good weekend, whatever it is for you right now. And thanks for listening. All right.